Oh. Narayana. Hari Om and good morning from Niagara Falls. Yesterday, I was driving and I noted a sign, and this sign said, and some of you may have seen the same sign, it said, a present for the future. A present for the future. What do you think this sign was communicating or selling? What is a present for the future? Being present.
You are grateful that you're alive.
You're grateful that you're alive. This is a billboard, a commercial billboard.
Selling some internet, online some stuff.
Okay, online sales. A diamond. A diamond is a present for the future because a diamond lasts a long time, apparently. I feel that our Shastras are a present for the future. If you take the Yoga Sutras by Rishi Patanjali, some say that's 2,400 years old, some say even older. We're studying Ramayana. You cannot assign a date to Ramayana in the calculations that we have. Our Shastras are classic scriptures. And here classic means that they're ancient. Undoubtedly, they're older than anything we know in the world. And they're still fresh. Ancient and still fresh. As we go about studying Ramayana, we come to know more about what's in Sri Bharata's heart. How Raja Dasharatha seeks advice. What is the purpose of Ramayana? The more we know about our Shastra, the more we come to love Sri Bharata's personality, Raja Dasharatha's care for Bhagavan Rama. That Ramayana is about humility. The more I know, the more I love. The more I love, the more I surrender. And that's important to note, because when I surrender, I'm surrendering my limitation. I'm surrendering my vasanas. I'm surrendering my ego. And I'll share with you another word that helps us relate to surrender, because our idea of surrender is very worldly right now. Countries surrender to each other. Businesses surrender to each other. Surrender in a self-development sense, in a Vedantic sense, means being. When I surrender to Bhagavan, I start to be Bhagavan, isn't it? When I surrender to joy, I start to be joyous. So how do you get to be? By love. How do you get to love? By knowledge. And this knowledge, how do you get to knowledge? Through our Shastras. They are a present for the future. And this is exactly what we're doing every Sunday morning with our Vedanta and Ramayana course. Last week, we studied how Sri Bharata had gone to the forest. And in the forest, he was seeking out Bhagavan Rama. And he found Bhagavan Rama. And after connecting with Bhagavan Rama, he returned to Ayodhya with Bhagavan Rama's padukas. Goswamiji shares that Sri Bharata didn't put those padukas down from the time Bhagavan Rama gave them till they were installed in Ayodhya. Now it took them many days to get to the forest and so many days back, correct? And now if you think, when you go through the Niagara Gorge as an example, imagine not having your hands to balance you, to hold onto a railing or a rock. And he's there barefoot. like Bhagwan Rama. But he was so focused on Bhagwan Rama that he was able to do that. What this shows us, this small choice by Sri Bharata, him going through the forest is like our sadhana. Our sadhana is rough for us initially. Waking up in the morning, reflecting, following through with being patient. It's a forest. But if you go through that forest, you meet Bhagwan Rama, that's tasting joy. The joy of discipline, the joy of compassion, the joy of being independent. You get to taste that. And once you taste that joy, you can never forget that joy, which is symbolized by the padukas being on his head. He never was interested in pleasure, possession, position. He tasted peace and wants that to be the center of his life, the center of his heart. These padukas I had shared last week symbolize, one is the Ra matra and one is the Ma matra. So Rama. And Goswamiji writes, chanting Rama makes an ordinary person extraordinary. Chanting Rama even while you're yawning can still make you extraordinary. That's how powerful and potent this mantra is. And I'm referencing that because many times when we yawn, when we sneeze, what do we say? You say bless you or excuse me. But what does that actually mean? Why are you asking for being excused? It's a bodily function, right? And bless you, we used to say that because when someone sneezed, we thought they had the plague and they were going to die. Now, nobody has the plague in North America. It's contained in Atlanta at the Center for Disease Control, correct? So we should follow what our Shastras say. When you sneeze, you say Rama. When you yawn, you say Narayana. When you fart, you say Shiva. We should take Bhagwan's name in every circumstance. And you've heard me say that, but now I'm telling you where it's coming from. So you don't think Vivek just makes these things up. I do make up a lot of things, but these ideas are coming from our Shastras. When Bhagwan Rama's padukas were placed in Ayodhya, Sri Bharata worked and worked and worked. He never focused on himself. He never asked for reciprocity. He never said to Bhagwan Rama, you're in the forest with no worry and here I am in Ayodhya. He found freedom in work, not freedom from work. We often think freedom is from work, which is why we love weekends, correct? We love vacations. We love retirement. But what Bhagavad Gita, what Gurudev teaches is freedom is not from work. Freedom is in work. And Sri Bharata brings that to life. For our Bhagavad Gita students, I hope you see so much connection between Gita and Ramayana. Gita is a text on bhakti, isn't it? Ramayana is a text on jnana. So much connection between these two. And with that, we completed Ayodhya Kanda. Now we'll do a brief review, and we'll just take up one chopai from Aranya Kanda today. In earlier classes, I told all of you about Moksha Dwara Nagaris, or Mokshada Nagaris, that there are cities where if you are born there, if you live there, if you die there, that you can be free. Do you remember me telling you all about that? Of course you'll say yes, and if I ask you, tell me what they are. One of the cities is known as Ayodhya Kanda. And that's obvious. Bhagwan Rama was born there. Ayodhya means where there's no violence, ahimsa. Balakanda is associated with Ayodhya Kanda. These 7 cities, I'll tell you about 3 of them today, and each of the kandas, each of the chapters of Ramayana is associated with one of those cities. So the first city I'm mentioning is Ayodhya. And the kanda of Ramayana that's connected to that is Balakanda. Now let's think why. Bhagwan Rama was born in Ayodhya, correct? After Bhagwan Rama was born, then he left Ayodhya. Bhagwan Rama got married in Mithila, and then he came back to Ayodhya. So naturally, Balakanda's focus was in Ayodhya. So if you study Balakanda, it's like you're living in Ayodhya. And in Balakanda, we shared that the personality who made the katha flow was Rishi Vishwamitra. Because he came to Ayodhya, he took Bhagwan Rama and brought him back to Ayodhya. Then we shifted to Ayodhya Kanda. And the city that's associated with Ayodhya Kanda is Mathura. The Moksha Dwara Nagari is Mathura. That was the chapter we just completed. Now think why. Bhagavan Krishna, before he was living in Mathura, was living in Gokula. And then he had to leave Gokula, wasn't it? And everyone in Gokula was completely heartbroken that Bhagavan had to go to Mathura. In fact, what is shared is that when Mother Yashodhara found out that Bhagavan was not coming back, she stopped speaking. Now, whenever you see Mother Yashodhara, you never see her without a smile on her face, without joy radiating from her. She just stopped speaking. Now, think about how that would have affected her husband, the people that she looked after. The same goes when Bhagwan Rama left Ayodhya to go to the forest. Everyone was heartbroken, starting with Raja Dasharatha, correct? Raja Dasharatha, he didn't speak, he died. All of the queens, all of the citizens followed Bhagwan Rama to the forest. So those chapters are associated with each other. Ayodhya Kanda was where Bhagwan Rama was exiled. Ayodhya Kanda also highlighted Shri Bharata's love. That for someone who loves Bhagwan, it doesn't matter where Bhagwan goes. And the personality who made the katha flow from Ayodhya Kanda was Manthara. Manthara changed Kaikeyi's mind, and she did what she did. Because Kaikeyi also loved Bhagwan Rama, but Manthara was that dussanga. Everyone's with me? So we have Ayodhya with Balakanda, and we have Mathura with Ayodhya Kanda. Now we're about to begin Aranya Kanda. Aranya means forest, jungle. In India, they don't have forests like North America, they have jungles. And Aranya Kanda is connected with Haridwar. Okay? Now, what Swami Ramayana was telling us about Aranya Kanda, many people skip Aranya Kanda when they read Ramayana, when they study Ramayana. So they go from Ayodhya Kanda to Kishkinda Kanda. Now why? Why did they skip over Aranya Kanda? Because Mother Sita will be kidnapped. And we know that, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't face that, correct? Is there anyone here who doesn't know that they're not going to die? You still have to face that, correct? To prepare for that. Is there anyone here who feels that their kids that they're raising are not going to go to university? You have to prepare for that, right? So I just wanted to point out that we get so stuck in rituals. Mahabharata, if you keep that in your home, your family will fight. But in Mahabharata, there's Gita also, correct? In Aranya Kanda, there's Bhagwan Rama. In Aranya Kanda, there are 2 Mangal Shlokas. 2. Why? Because those Mangal Shlokas represent the 3 main personalities in Ramayana, and Mother Sita is going to be kidnapped, so there are only 2 Mangal Shlokas. And I'll point out to you when we get to Sundarakanda, 3 come back. 3 Mangal Shlokas, because they found Mother Sita. How thoughtfully Goswamiji writes. Now Haridwara has another name. Does anyone know what the alternative name for Haridwara is? It's known as Maya. Haridwara is also known as Maya. Now don't confuse this with Maya Nagari, Mumbai, or Las Vegas, okay? I'm saying just Maya. I'm not confusing this with Mumbai or Las Vegas. Now, why it's called Maya? Because in this chapter, a whole lot of Mayavi is manifested. Ravana disguises himself as a sadhu. You'll see right at the beginning, Indra's son, Jayanta, he uses Maya on Mother Sita. You'll see that right at the beginning. So Haridwar is also known as Maya. And going into this some more, if you've ever been in a forest, it's easy to get lost, correct? There's no markings, sometimes there's no sunlight, there's no people there. Maya is the same way, isn't it? It's very easy to get lost in Maya. We come to the ashram, we study Ramayana, but if someone takes more prasad than you get, all of a sudden, Rama's gone. Ravana manifests. So it's very easy to get lost in Maya, in the forest, Aranya. And this is what happened to Mother Sati. When Daksha is engaged in his yajna, where he disrespects Bhagavan Shiva, that's related to this forest. When Mother Sati questioned Bhagavan Shiva about his love for Bhagavan Rama, where did she wander around? Aranyakanda, to this forest. She got lost. When Goswamiji writes in Aranyakanda, you would have seen in the first two kandas that there's a certain number of chopais and then a doha. Certain number of chopais and doha. In Aranyakanda, there's no uniformity. There's long chopais and then a doha. Then a few chopais and then a doha. Then a sorta. And he keeps on mixing it up because that's how a forest is. It's not like a farm field where things are in line and planned. Even how that writing is communicated, there's no uniformity. Our Shastras are also known as Maharanya. I don't know if you've heard that before. Our Shastras are known as Maharanya. That you can get lost in the Shastra, isn't it? You can take things only literally, like yoga is just exercise or breathing. That's Maharanya. Or for some of us, our Maharanya, we get lost in studying, and no following. And that's called Shastra Vasana, isn't it? I tell everyone I've studied this and I've studied this, but I haven't changed at all. If you want to go through the forest, you need a guide. If you want to go through Maya, you need a guide. If you want to go through the Shastras, a guide is needed. Maharanya, Acharya Shankara in Vivekji calls our Shastras Shabda Jala. What does Jala mean? Net or cage. A cage, a net of words. You are this but not this. What does that mean? So in this kanda, I'm describing to you poetically Haridwara, Aranya, this is Maya. Our Shastras are the same way. To not get lost. To ensure that like Shri Bharata kept those padukas on his head, that Bhagavan was his only purpose. For us, independent joy is our only purpose. We will be guided through Aranyakanda. And there will be hardships. Mother Sita will be kidnapped. That's not going to change. Just like us, hardships will come. People will be born, people will die. We will gain, we will lose. But to keep that purpose. Final introductory thought to Aranyakanda. Aranyakanda's katha begins with Jayanta, who is Indra's son. And Jayanta is someone who uses Maya on Mother Sita. But when you use any negativity towards Bhagavan, Bhagavan is a mirror. Where is that negativity going? Back on you. And you'll find Jayanta then suffers from moha. And the last portion of Aranyakanda finishes with Sandha, the description of who a sadhu is, someone who is disciplined. So we begin as Jayanta, but we should end as Santa. The word Santa is where the word Santa came from, if you're not making that, that connection. So from Jayanta to Santa. We may finish Aranyakanda in a few weeks. Ready? Should we begin? Okay. One chopai today. This is the 5th section of chopais, the 5th section. It is the 6th chopai. These are longer sections. The 6th chopai, I'm reading the first line. Jaga pati vrata chari bidi ahahi Veda Purana Santa Saba Kahihi. Jaga, or what is known, is pativrata. What does pativrata mean? Someone who is sincere to their pati, to their husband, right? So this is only for wives, this is not for husbands, correct? I hope you can sense my sarcasm. Chari bidhi. Chari means for. Bidhi, these are to be known, to be followed. Ahahi, this is what is said. Who says this? Veda Purana, the Veda Puranas, the Santa Saba Kahihi. So this should be known, as is said and supported by the Veda Purana, etc. What is happening right now is Bhagwan Rama, Mother Sita, Sri Lakshmana are leaving Chitrakuta because more and more people are finding out they're there, so more and more people are coming. But they're not supposed to set up a kingdom, correct? They're supposed to live in the forest. So they're on the move. And they arrive at Atri Rishi's ashram. And Atri Rishi's wife's name is Anasuya. And I'll share more about that. And when Anasuya Devi meets Mother Sita, she gives her heavenly robes that are always new, clean, and charming. So you see sometimes in movies like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings about these special clothes that they have that keep them fresh or protected. That was copied from Ramayana. But these were given by Anasuya Devi to Mother Sita. And then she says, sit down. Let's talk. Let's talk about life. And Anasuya Devi starts to give Mother Sita advice about being a wife, advice about being a person in a family, advice about being a human being. Okay? This is not just instructions for women, instructions for people who are married. This is advice on being a human. And I'll share that with you shortly, but leading up to this. As Bhagwan Rama, Mother Sita, and Sri Lakshmana are on the move, they didn't have a lot of responsibilities, right? They're living in the jungle. So often Bhagwan Rama, when Mother Sita would be sleeping in the morning, he would get up a little bit earlier. And he would go into the jungle and he would collect flowers for her. And he would tie them together and he would make ornaments for her. Garlands, necklaces, he would tie those flowers in her hair around her ankles. And from some of those flowers, he would make a paste. And he would put her tilak on, he would put it under her eyes and her lipstick, all of that, all from Ramayana. And he would do all of this. And from a distance, Indra's son was watching. His name is Jayanta. And Indra, as he's watching Bhagwan Rama so lovingly and affectionately treating his wife, he thought that Bhagwan Rama is infatuated with Mother Sita. He inferred that he's, a kami purusha. He's someone who's lusty. And Bhagwan Rama has to go defeat Ravana, correct? So he's not going to be able to defeat him. So I'm going to go test him. So Jayanta is going to test Bhagwan Rama to see if he's the right person to defeat Ravana. And as he thinks this, I'm going to test Bhagwan Rama, Indra's son Jayanta turns into a crow. As soon as he thinks this crooked thought, right away he becomes a crow. And Bhagwan Rama is resting on Mother Sita's lap. Right? There are no responsibilities. Aram, bindas. They're in the jungle completely free. And he's just sleeping on her lap like an infant would. And this Jayanta comes as a crow and starts striking Mother Sita's feet, starts pecking at her feet. And a crow's beak is not a small bird. They're strong. And her feet are soft, right? She's a princess. She's a queen. So she starts to bleed. But she doesn't scream out. She doesn't wake up Bhagwan Rama because she wants him to rest. And a particle, a drop of that blood reaches Bhagwan Rama's skin. And he wakes up. He's surprised by this. And as soon as he sees that blood from Mother Sita's feet, he knows right away what had happened. So he picks up a blade of grass, chants a mantra and throws it. And this becomes a Brahmastra. This is the astra, the missile that can destroy all that Brahma has created. It is everything. And this starts chasing Jayanta. Jayanta's flying. He goes to Indra. His father is saying, help. His father looks the other way. I asked Bhagwan Rama for help. Now you're saying you heard him. He looked the other way. He went to Lord Brahma. He said, yes, that's my astra, but my boss is Bhagwan Rama also. He went to Bhagwan Shiva. Bhagwan Shiva said, if you're hurting Mother Sita, I'm not the person to help you either. Who's wandering around at the same time as Jayanta's flying around? Who's the wanderer in our scriptures? Narada Muni is wandering around, right? So he happens to connect in the airport. The Jayanta's there and Narada Muni's there too. So Narada Muni says, you need to ask Bhagwan for forgiveness. You can't just go around asking someone who was not hurt for forgiveness. The one who got hurt, you should ask them for forgiveness. So he goes to Bhagwan Rama and asks for forgiveness. And Bhagwan Rama right away forgives Jayanta. But he also says, once I release this astra, it has to find its mark. Like a real missile, right? So that missile takes away one of Jayanta's eyes. Okay, so he goes on living with one eye. And then they arrive at Atri Rishi's ashram, and I was describing to you that Mother Anasuya is talking to Mother Sita. And this is what Mother Anasuya tells Mother Sita, okay? I'm going to tell you the literal meaning, the katha, and then we'll go into the Vedanta. She says that there's 4 types of women. I'm giving you the katha first, not the Vedanta. There's 4 types of women, and I'll start with the best and go to the worst. She said the best type of woman has one husband in mind and speech and action. One husband. The second type of woman, as I'm saying this, please do not look around. Don't think of another person. Don't look to another person. This is for your reference only. Okay? The second type of woman, she has one husband and treats all other husbands as her relatives according to age. So if they're older, that's like my father. Same age, that's like my brother. If they're younger, that's like my son. So she has one husband and lots of other relatives. The third type of woman has one husband, but is interested in other husbands also, but restrains herself by virtue, that this is not right, or by family consequences, that if I have 2 husbands, that will hurt the family I'm in. Okay, everyone's with me so far? And the fourth type of woman, she has one husband, is interested in many husbands, but is only restrained from having many husbands out of fear. And other husbands are not interested in her. So lack of opportunity. So that's the only reason why she's not with other husbands. Okay? I'm going to leave that there and then come back to that, the Vedanta part. Okay? Why was Bhagwan Rama going and bringing flowers, ornaments, and ointments for Mother Sita? Because he's so empathetic that Mother Sita should be the queen of Mithila, correct? And she was hardly in Ayodhya for some hours, some days before she had to go to the forest. So he's trying to create that bhava of a kingdom, of a queen for Mother Sita. What empathy, what appreciation for the sacrifice she's made for him. And through that simple gesture, we learn that we should be appreciative for any sacrifice people make for us. Any seva that they do for us, to be appreciative of that. He's not infatuated. He's helping her be happy. Then we also think about this Jayanta thinking Bhagwan Rama is infatuated, that he's a lusty person. Bhagwan Rama's nature is joy, correct? When you're happy and you're in a position of pleasure, does it matter to you? No. You can be with pleasure, you can be without pleasure. It doesn't matter. You're happy. Yogaratova, bhogaratova. For someone who's engaged in bhaja govindam, it doesn't matter if they're engaged in yoga, no pleasure, or bhoga, lots of pleasure. But Jayanta doesn't know that because he's not happy, correct? He thinks that if you're in pleasure, you're trying to gain something from that. Bhagwan is not trying to gain anything. Now be honest here. Don't be that person. I'm happy too. I can be in pleasure and not be affected by pleasure. We should be that as strong as Bhagwan Rama. When Bhagwan Rama takes away Jayanta's eye, some people may be thinking, that's pretty mean of him, right? But now you think, if you break an arm, so I break my left arm, it makes me appreciate my right arm much more then, isn't it? I focus much more. People who can't hear, their eyesight is much more acute. People who can't see, their hearing is much more acute. Bhagwan taking away one of Jayanta's eyes is teaching him to know Bhagwan. Don't have this worldly way of thinking about me and my wife. For us to focus on Bhagwan Rama, on self-development. And now finally, that vidhi towards a woman. Okay. One husband. Who should our husband be? Who should our wife be in life? God, no. Mahamira's mother told her, your husband is Bhagwan Krishna. When did she learn that? 5. Like our Balavar students, isn't it? Balavar starts when you're 5 years old. That you have parents, but your real parents are here. Bhagwan Krishna and Bhagavati Radha. So the best type of human being is the one who has one parent, one spouse, one child, one relationship, and that is Bhagwan. We call that Ananya Bhakti, correct? Na Anya. There is no one else. That's what's conveyed by Anasuya Devi to Mother Sita. The next is having a husband and many relatives. Here, relatives should be treated as gurus. We call them a Guru Kula, correct? The guru is part of my kula, my family. That I may have one spouse who's Bhagwan, but everyone else I should learn from them. What to do, what not to do. So that's the second type. And here there really is not 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all that best type of human being. The third is that I have one spouse and I'm restrained by virtue or by family. Here the idea is that if you are following Shri is virtue development, self-development, then you will be in tune with the Guru and God. But if you don't focus on self-development, then we can get lost in this aranya. And the same goes with the fourth, is being restrained by fear. Fear is a vice, but it can be useful. I should be afraid from being indisciplined. I should be afraid of hurting your feelings. I should be afraid of being arrogant, correct? And if I'm afraid of that, I'll focus on virtues, I'll focus on Guru, I'll focus on God. When Acharya Shankara had taken up the body of Amaraka, how many of you know the story of Bhagwan Acharya Shankara taking the form of Amaraka? Okay, sort of. I'll begin next week's class with this. Bhagwan Acharya Shankara had taken up the form of a dead king to learn about sexuality. And Acharya Shankara, he forgot that he had assumed that role of this king, and his disciples found him and started chanting Moha Mudgara. That's why Bhaja Govindam is also known as Moha Mudgara. They started hammering at his moha, that he had forgotten that the only purpose is Bhagwan. And so Acharya Shankara relieved himself of that king's body and became Acharya Shankara again and continued his Digvijaya, his conquest to correct the way people think. I'm only sharing that is that someone who has this idea of Ananya Bhakti, they may get lost, but they will also be helped to get found again. Okay? Oh.